In a heart-pounding world of college football rivalries, nothing beats the intensity of Michigan taking down Michigan State. And on Saturday night, the Wolverines pulled off a hard-fought 31-20 victory that kept the Paul Bunyan Trophy right where it belongs, in Ann Arbor. If you're new to this iconic matchup, think of it as two neighboring states battling for bragging rights, with over a century of bad blood fueling every play. This win marks Michigan's fourth consecutive triumph over the Spartans, who now sit at 3-5 overall and a dismal 0-5 in the Big Ten Conference. Standout performances came from running back Justice Haynes, who bulldozed his way to 2 touchdowns after shaking off an injury, and quarterback Bryce Underwood, who added another score to the tally. For beginners, a touchdown is worth 6 points, and these plays were crucial in building Michigan's lead. Now 6-2 overall, 4-1 in conference play. But here's where it gets controversial. The game was riddled with frustrations on both sides, especially Michigan's offense, which sputtered with inaccurate passes early on. It wasn't until Haynes returned at full speed that the Wolverines found their rhythm, turning a close contest into a decisive win. Michigan State hung tough, scoring to narrow gaps multiple times, but ultimately, the better-prepared team prevailed. What made this game a roller coaster? Repeated penalties plagued the Spartans, who racked up 12 for a whopping 105 yards, including a pivotal offside call during a fumble recovery that swung momentum Michigan's way. Imagine the tension. A loose ball on the field, players diving everywhere, and then a flag that nullifies a big play. That's the kind of drama that keeps fans yelling at their TVs. The matchup unfolded at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, drawing a raucous crowd, but Michigan's discipline and execution shone through. Let's dive into the key moments from this thrilling rivalry bout, recapping the highlights in sequence so you can relive the action. I'll explain each play simply, like chatting with a friend over coffee, to make sure even newcomers follow along. Final score, Michigan 31, Michigan State 20. As the clock wound down, Michigan sealed the deal after allowing one last Spartans touchdown. The final tally stood at 31-20, a score that reflects the Wolverines' resilience. Post-game, players from both teams exchanged handshakes in a show of sportsmanship. Then, Michigan's squad celebrated with loyal fans and hoisted the Paul Bunyan Trophy, a massive wooden statue symbolizing the series winner, which will remain in Michigan's trophy case for another season. It's these traditions that make rivalries unforgettable. Spartans narrow the gap to 11 points. Score now 31-20. In the dying seconds of the fourth quarter, with just 0:7 left, Michigan State made a final push with backup quarterback Alessio Milivojevic stepping in. He connected beautifully with tight end Michael Masunis for a touchdown reception. For new fans, a tight end is a versatile player who blocks and catches passes. The Spartans tried an onside kick, a desperate attempt to recover the ball near midfield, but Michigan snagged it, ending any comeback hopes. Jordan Marshall delivers the dagger. Michigan up 31-13 just moments earlier. At 2:48 in the fourth, running back Jordan Marshall broke free for a stunning 56-yard touchdown scamper. This long run, bursting through defenders like a hot knife through butter, essentially locked in the victory. For context, a 56-yard gain is rare and game-changing, showcasing Michigan's explosive potential when their ground game clicks. Wolverines. Defense steps up big. At 4:37 in the fourth quarter, Michigan's defenders redeemed an earlier mistake by stuffing Spartans QB Aidan Chiles on a crucial 4th-and-1 rush attempt. Think of fourth down as do or die. Teams rarely convert, and this stop kept the lead intact. As a result, fans began streaming out of Spartan Stadium, sensing the game's outcome. Art-stopping fumble by Haynes. But the drama peaked at 5:51 in the fourth, when Justice Haynes, despite Michigan State's third taunting penalty of the night, unsportsmanlike conduct that costs yards, coughed up the ball on a rare miscue. The fumble handed possession back to the Spartans at their own 46-yard line. Taunting penalties, by the way, are referees' way of keeping things civil. Excessive celebrations can fire up opponents even more. Rolder's clutch interception-like breakup. Rewind to 8:01 in the fourth. Chiles tried to rally with a scramble on third down, but came up short. On 4th and 3, linebacker Jimmy Rolder swatted away a pass, forcing a turnover on downs. With only 8 minutes left and trailing by 11, this defensive gem was huge. It's like slamming the door on a potential Spartans' surge. Michigan fumbles away a chance, forced to punt. At 10:13 in the fourth, the Wolverines had a golden opportunity to put the game away, but their offense stalled after the defense allowed a Spartans score. Punter Hudson Hollenbeck's 32-yard boot gave Michigan State the ball at their 41, highlighting how punts flip field position and give breathing room. Chiles' heroics keep Spartans alive. Lead cut to 11, 24-13, earlier in the fourth. At 12:34, Chiles almost single-handedly ignited a comeback. Sacked for a 9-yard loss by edge rusher T.J. Guy, an edge rusher pressures the quarterback from the sidelines. He bounced back with a 19-yard strike to wide receiver Nick Marsh. Chiles then scrambled, passed more and connected again with Marsh for what looked like a 24-yard touchdown, but replay review, video officials checking for accuracy, ruled it half a yard short. Running back Brandon Tullis plunged in on the next play, though the 2-point conversion failed. Chiles' dual-threat style, running and throwing, makes him a nightmare, as Michigan's coaches noted pregame. Haynes powers ahead. Michigan leads 24-7. Shifting to the third quarter at 3:08, Michigan's attack finally clicked with 3 short rushes from Haynes, a 27-yard completion to wide receiver Andrew Marsh, and a 14-yard TD scamper by Haynes himself. Up 24-7 heading into the fourth, this drive had some Spartans fans heading for the exits early, always a sign of dominance. Chiles avoids disaster, but Spartans punt at 5:57 in the third, facing 3rd and 7 from their own 6-yard line after short gains. Chiles wisely threw the ball away to dodge a safety, a 2-point penalty when tackled in your end zone. The ensuing 48-yard punt favored Michigan, starting them at the Spartans' 46. Close calls like this can swing momentum in tight games. Punt exchange gives Michigan edge from 7:24 in the third. Both teams traded punts post-Haynes' earlier score. But Wolverines punter Hudson Hollenbeck delivered a beauty, a 67-yard bomb downed at the MSU 3-yard line. Elite punting pins opponents deep, limiting their options. For example, it's tough to drive 97 yards for a score. Haynes back in form. Lead grows to 17-7. At 11:50 in the third, the cheat code that is Justice Haynes returned from injury with a bang, a 28-yard burst that nearly went the distance but bumped into teammate Samaj Morgan. He followed with another 28-yarder. On 3rd and 8, Underwood appeared to fumble, but an offside call on the defense, a controversial whistle for jumping early, gifted a first down. Haynes capped it with a 5-yard TD run, extending the lead. And this is the part most people miss. Injury returns like Haynes's can transform a team's identity overnight. Underwood's halftime struggles. Through the first half, Underwood faced heavy pressure from MSU's defense. His stats: 7 completions out of 15 attempts for 59 yards, 47% completion rate. No passing TDs, plus 2 rushes for 19 yards and 1 rushing TD. Pressure like this, constant rushes at the QB, forces quick decisions and can lead to mistakes, which Underwood navigated admirably. No Hail Mary magic at halftime. As the second quarter ended, Michigan cleverly used the sidelines to burn clock without timeouts, but a drop by Samaj Morgan on 2nd and 6 and a Haynes rush couldn't set up a play. No desperation Hail Mary. A long, low-percentage pass was attempted. Smart, as it preserves energy for the second half. Chiles' costly mistake leads to punt. At 39 in the second, Chiles hit Marsh for 8 yards, but Marsh backpedaled out of bounds short of a first down. A later intentional grounding penalty, throwing into the ground to avoid a sack, which costs yardage. After a hit from Derek Moore, forced another MSU punt to Michigan's 17. Grounding is a referee's call to prevent cheating the rush. Wolverines' offense hits a wall, punts. At 1:53 in the second. Michigan's drive fizzled with repeated rushes by Jordan Marshall gaining minimal yards and incomplete to Donovan McCulley, and a broken play for 4 yards. Hollenbeck's 47-yard punt landed at MSU's 34, showing how offenses can crater under pressure. Morgan's smart fair catch pins Spartans from 4:48 in the second. MSU gained just 7 yards before punting. A missed pass interference call on Marsh, defensive holding that wasn't flagged, hurt them. Samaj Morgan's fair catch inside Michigan's 5, catching without advancing to avoid fumbles, unusually pinned the Wolverines deep. But wait, actually, it was the punt into Michigan's territory that tested them. Snap trouble echoes history. Forces punt at 6:22 in the second. A botched snap, the center to QB handoff gone wrong, reminiscent of past Michigan woes, cost 16 yards when Underwood recovered it awkwardly. Hollenbeck's 45-yard punt went to MSU's 37. These mishaps add unintended drama. Chiles' gritty TD narrows lead to 10-7. Starting at 8:24 in the second with a false start, MSU rebounded via Maki Frazier's 49-yard run, their longest play. Chiles blocked hard downfield, risking injury. A missed defensive alignment forced Michigan's timeout. Frazier gained more after a missed tackle by Roller, but a personal foul by Elijah Tautoliver backed them up, offset by Michigan's pass interference. On third down near the goal line, Chiles powered in for the TD after 3 goal line stands, making it 10-7. Dual-threat quarterbacks like him thrive in chaos. Incompletions stall Michigan, punt at quarter's end. As the first quarter closed, 0-0, a holding penalty by Greg Crippen drew cheers from Spartan fans. Followed by an incomplete pass and Haynes' 5 yards. Hollenbeck's 53-yard punt was returned to MSU's 27. Penalties like holding, illegal blocking, kill drives. MSU drive derailed by penalties, sacks. At 1:40 in the first, a hands-to-the-face foul set MSU back 15 yards. Then Chiles was sacked. They punted, giving Michigan the ball at their 32. Sacks, tackling the QB, disrupt rhythm. Underwood's rushing TD puts Michigan up 10-0 at 3:58 in the first. After a pass interference call, defensive contact after the pass, Underwood's 44% completion rate improved with Haynes' 14-yard catch and run. Underwood then bolted 13 yards up the sideline for the score. Early leads set the tone. Spartans' quick 3-and-out from 7:16 in the first, 2 incompletions and a drop to Marsh, ended MSU's drive fast. Ryan Eckley's 43-yard punt was downed at Michigan's 37. Michigan's early promise fades to punt. At 7:40 in the first, Underwood's deep ball to Andrew Marsh nearly scored, but he tripped. 2 incompletions to McCulley led to a touchback punt. Into the end zone, no return. Chiles' deep shot falls short. At 9:02 in the first, on 3rd and 8, Chiles. Long pass to Amari Kelly looked complete but was ruled incomplete on review. No control, out of bounds. Delays and false starts followed, with Samaj Morgan returning the 51-yard punt to Michigan's 32. Field goal gives Michigan 3-0 edge starting at 10:07 in the first. Haynes' return sparked a 17-yard rush, converting a crucial 4.5 yard. But pressure forced Underwood to throw away 2 passes. Kicker Dominic Zavada nailed the field goal, a shorter kick worth 3 points. And this is the part most people miss. Close 4th downs test a team's nerve. Haynes returns from injury. Michigan's star rusher Justice Haynes, listed as questionable, suited up and changed the game. His presence alone boosts the run game. Rolder's early fumble recovery. At 14:14 in the first, on MSU's 3rd play, DB Brandon Hillman jarred the ball loose from Chiles, and linebacker Jimmy Rolder scooped it at MSU's 34. Turnovers early can dictate the whole game. Coin toss favors Michigan. Michigan called tails correctly and deferred to the second half, letting MSU receive first. Deferring means choosing to start on offense after halftime for strategic advantage. Strategy focus. Containing Chiles pregame, Michigan's coaches emphasized boxing in Aidan Chiles, a dual-threat QB with 234 rushing yards, 5 TDs, despite 18 sacks this season. Linebackers coach Brian Jean-Mary called him athletic, tall, with a strong arm, who extends plays with his legs. For beginners, dual threat means he runs as well as passes, like a one-man highlight reel. Limiting him was key to retaining the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Sean Yunzer's prediction: even in a somewhat subdued rivalry year, toss-out spreads. Spartans have enough fight to keep it close, but Wolverines' talent, led by Underwood's late heroics, wins out. Pick Michigan 26, MSU 23. But here's where it gets controversial. Is the rivalry losing its fire under new MSU coaching? Some say yes, others argue it's brewing for a comeback. Historical edge. Run game dominance. 55 meetings. The team with more rushing yards wins 48 times, 87.2%. Last year bucked the trend. MSU outrushed Michigan 163-119, but lost 24-17 due to penalties and Chiles' fumble. Michigan's clean play, no turnovers or flags, proved decisive. History suggests controlling the ground game is non-negotiable. Injury updates for the matchup. Michigan welcomed back safety Brandon Hillman and tight end Marlon Klein, but missed safety Rod Moore, recent knee returnee, out after not playing last week versus Washington. Full outs: OL Andrew Babalola, LB Jaden Hood, wide receivers Imarian Stewart, Devon Baxter, CJ Charleston, RB Donovan Johnson, season ending, plus Evan Link, quarterback Davis Warren, RB Micah Kaapana, tight end Hogan Hansen. Questionable: RB Justice Haynes, O-line Brady Norton. Michigan State regained S. Malik Spencer, S. Nikai Martinez, LT Stanton Ramil, DB Nahai Burt, linebacker Marcus Pulliam, RB Jace Clarizio, DT Ben Roberts, outs, DE Analu Lafayette, leg season, LB Brady Pretzlaff, shoulder season, OG Luka Vincic, knee season, DBs Andrew Brinson, IV, arm season, Caleb Gash, arm season, KR Alante Brown, lower body, DB Aid Willie, PE's Brennan Parachek and Jaden Savary, K. Tarek Amit Basic, LS Caden Schickel, leg, OG Christian Phillips leg. No questionables. Note: pre-game reports slightly varied, but Klein and Hillman played key roles. Chris Solari's take: MSU moves the ball against tough defenses like VSC, Indiana, but struggles stopping runs and passes. They'll pressure Underwood some, but Michigan's big runs seal a fourth-quarter thriller. Pick Michigan 28, MSU 24. Freshman Frazier's big debut. Redshirt freshman OL Blake Frazier started due to Evan Link's injury versus Washington. A Texas native and son of ex-Wolverine Steve Frazier, 1990 starter, including 1997 champs. He grew up idolizing this rivalry. "I know what the game means," he said, excited for the night game in East Lansing. Injuries create opportunities. Nature of the sport. Tony Garcia's outlook. Michigan's momentum is back after USC. MSU seems flat, with a coach not fully grasping the rivalry's passion. Historically, MSU willed wins under Mark D'Antonio, but talent gap favors Michigan now. Pick 31-17. Controversial counterpoint. Could MSU's underdog spirit spark an upset, or is Michigan untouchable? Updated pregame injuries similar to above with additions. Michigan outs include RB Micah Kaapana. Questionables add S. Rod Moore, S. Brandon Hillman, S. tight ends Marlon Klein, Hogan Hansen. MSU questionables: S. Malik Spencer, S. Nikai Martinez, LT Stanton Ramil, KR Alante Brown, OG Christian Phillips, DBs Ade Willie, Nijay Burt, tight ends Brennan Parachek, Jaden Savary, linebacker Marcus Pulliam, K. Tarek Amit Basic, LS Caden Schickel, RB Jace Clarizio, probable DT Ben Roberts. Game details: primetime showdown at Spartan Stadium, Saturday, October 25th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Broadcast on NBC, streaming via Peacock or Fubo. Radio, WCSX FM 94.7, Michigan, WJR AM 760, MSU. Announcers: Noah Eagle, play-by-play, Todd Blackledge, analysis. Betting odds: Michigan heavy favorites. Spread -14, over-under 47.5, moneyline Michigan 600, MSU +425 via BetMGM. Odds reflect expectations, but rivalries defy them. Michigan's 2025 schedule so far. Week 1, 34-17 versus New Mexico. Underwood's debut shine. Week 2, 24-13 at Oklahoma. Week 3, 63-3 versus Central Michigan, blowout city. Week 4, 30-27 at Nebraska, thriller. Week 5, bye. Week 6, 24-7 versus Wisconsin. Week 7, 31-13 versus USC. Week 8, W 24-17 versus Washington. Week 9, W 31-20 at Michigan State. This game. Upcoming. Week 10 versus Purdue. November 1st, 7 p.m., Big Ten Network. Week 11, bye. Week 12 at Northwestern, November 15, TBD. Week 13 at Maryland, November 22nd, TBD. Week 14 versus Ohio State, November 29th, noon ET, Fox. What do you think? Was that offside call on the fumble a game stealer, or did Michigan earn it through sheer talent? Should rivalries like this get more love in a diluted Big Ten? Drop your takes in the comments. Agree with the predictions? Or see an NSU resurgence coming? Let's discuss. Contact Matthew Auchincloss at malchincloss@freepress.com.